Welcome everyone. This is Role of a Counselor, and we want to talk about just kind of a quick overview of the whole big picture of the role of a counselor. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about what a counselor is, the goal of a counselor, responsibilities, roles of a counselor and a co-counselor, that whole working together thing, the role of a counselor coach and how they're going to be helping you at camp this summer, the chain of command, and then something we call MEB, or morale, excitement, and buy-in. Short story to start with. In this idea of communication and what's expected of us, a camper and his counselor, they go out fishing for the first time. This is the first time this camper has ever been fishing. But this counselor, he's gone fishing lots of times, and he's really excited about taking his camper fishing and sharing that excitement of fishing together. And so he baits the hook and gets a worm on the hook for the camper and hands him the fishing rod and says, "Okay, you can throw it in." And the camper looks at the counselor and says, "Throw it in?" And the counselor says, "Yeah, throw it in." And the camper looks at the counselor and says, "You want me to throw it in?" And the counselor says, "Yes, throw it in." So the camper asks one more time, "You want me to throw it in?" And the counselor says, "Yes, throw it in." So the camper takes the fishing rod and he throws it in. We don't want to do that to you this summer. Of course, the counselor freaks out. "No, not the fishing rod, right? Throw the bait in." Well, we want to be clear with you on those expectations. What is a good counselor? A good counselor is a mentor. They're somebody who's investing in a child's life and mentoring them as they grow and just kind of speaking into that child's life. A good counselor is also a hero for these kids, just somebody who is interested in them and wants to do things with them. For a lot of these boys especially, but for all these kids, really having an adult who's interested in their life is just not something that happens very often. And so you're also a hero. A good counselor is a caretaker as well. 21 hours a day, you're interacting with these kids and playing with these kids. And there's a lot of caretaking that goes on as well. How are they doing? Are they staying hydrated? Getting them in the showers. It's just a lot of caretaker responsibilities. You're also a role model. Your camp kids are watching you. They're seeing what you do and how you do it, and you're that role model. You get to model for them how to live life. And maybe for them, for the first time, they see somebody who cares about people. Maybe for the first time they watch an adult apologize. You're also a teacher, whether you're teaching devotions or you're out on the basketball court and you're teaching a boy how to shoot a ball. You're that teacher. You're also a life changer. You're a part of changing kids' lives. You're a light. Jesus said that when we do our good deeds before people, we are being a light. And in your kindness and your love for these kids, you're introducing them to God, and they're connecting with God through us. A good counselor is they're not a babysitter. One of the cool things about our camp structure is we have one counselor for every 2 campers, which means you can interact with these kids, and whether you're playing basketball, you're going to be playing basketball with them. Whether if you're in the pool, and you're going to be chicken fighting with them. If you're eating a meal, it's together. It's not I'm standing here and I'm watching them. As long as nothing bad's going on, everything's okay. The camp is a relationship driven, and we want you to interact with these kids. You're not a herder or a police officer. When we started off camp, we started off with one counselor for every 4 to 5 kids, and it quickly became, don't do that, don't do this, make sure you do this, and it became very quickly rule driven. And when we have one counselor for every 2 campers, it enables you to be a lot more relationship driven. And we don't want to just be policing the kids and making sure they're not breaking rules. We really want to be interacting with them and helping them grow. And last of all, you're not here to meet your own personal need. You're here for the campers. And we have a lot of some counselors who come, and they're they have a desire to be affirmed and feel valued. And maybe if I work as a counselor at camp, I can invest in these kids' lives and they're going to look up to me and I'm going to be the hero. And sometimes your campers love you, sometimes they hate you, and they'll tell you, you're the worst counselor in the world. I wish so-and-so else was my counselor. And if you're here to get that need for affirmation met, you're going to really start dragging. You need to get that affirmation met in Christ. We're going to try to affirm you as a leadership team, but you're not here to get your needs met through the campers. You're also not here, of course, to meet for romantic attachments or find someone else. Your main focus as a counselor is these kids. So now we move on to the goal of a counselor. The goal of a counselor is to lead and love the campers as you follow Christ. You can't give to the campers what you don't have. And so spending that time for you to really be deep in your relationship with Christ before you come to camp, and even during camp, you're pausing and praying and connecting with Christ. It's out of our relationship with Christ that we're able to share with these campers. And like we said earlier, you're that role model. They're going to be watching you. Another goal is to create an atmosphere of safety so our campers can grow spiritually, emotionally, and spiritually. And so we can't make the kids open up. We can't make the kids connect with us or ask us questions. But what we can do is create an atmosphere where they feel safe, where they feel like you really care, and what's going to happen naturally is they're going to open up. Another goal of counselors is to empower the campers to think through to healthy choices. When a problem comes up, asking them questions to help them think through and help them come to a place where they're able to really grasp, oh, this is why that's right. This is why I want to act like that. And when we take the time to do that, not only are we helping them in the moment, but we're helping them long term. Like when we say, well, let's not run in the dining hall because there's a lot of people in here and there's people carrying their trays and you don't want to bump into them and you knock their food off the tray and create a mess on the floor or hurt somebody potentially. Then they're able to think, I'm in a restaurant now. Maybe I shouldn't be running at the restaurant because at camp there was people carrying trays, and so you're giving them a framework for how to make healthy choices later in life. Another thing is to build relationships with the campers. Again, like we said, we have one counselor for every 2 campers. So relationships are really important here at camp. We want you to spend the time to build relationships with your campers. We're going to move on to roles and responsibilities of a counselor. One of your roles is just listening and observing. I want to pull up a picture here. These are boys swinging on a swing, and when you look, first of all, it looks like it's a whole bunch of boys just having fun. Then you see look a little closer, you see a boy at the end, and he does not look like he's having fun. And there could be all kinds of reasons why he's not having fun. Maybe he has a very sad memory that happened at a swing set, or maybe he doesn't know how to swing, doesn't know how to pump his legs, and so he's just kind of embarrassed because the other boys seem to know how to do this really well, and he doesn't. Or maybe he's mad at his counselor because he's told him they're going to swing and he wants to play basketball. Could be any number of things, but being able to step back and observe, oh, what's happening? What's going on here? And then, of course, you're going to need to go talk to the camper and engage him and figure out what's happening and why he's not at a place of joy while the other campers are. Give compassion. Compassion is one of our core values. And everyone has said, you've probably heard it before, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's easy to say, but it really is true. When you pause, when you really care about your campers, they quickly become the place where they realize this person cares about me, and they start to open up. On the flip side of that, when you show compassion, a lot of them are going to give you a lot of pushback. They're going to be mean. They're going to be snippy because they really want to know: is this just a show, or is this a real thing? And so, in giving that compassion, be aware they might not reciprocate back at first. Continue to love on them, and you'll see a lot of neat things happen. Give praise. Kids, these campers especially need a lot of praise. And just taking the time to notice, hey, yeah, thanks for taking your tray up and putting away. Or, hey, I saw, thanks for grabbing my water bottle, bringing it over to me. You're a great person. You're very helpful. Or hey, your bed's neatly made. Those praises give the campers their identity. When you tell them, hey, your boys are playing football, and he gets up, and rubs off a scraped knee, and you say, hey, you're tough. You took that really well. I mean, for the rest of his life, he's gonna think, wow, I can handle things all right, and it gives him a bigger understanding of who he is, and maybe gives him a life picture of who he is. Give encouragement. You can do this. And some of our campers have never tried to paint a porcelain animal before. There's a lot of things they haven't done, and you giving them the encouragement, hey, you can do this. I know you can do this. They're going to need a lot of that, and that's going to help them a lot. Another thing is to give warning and teaching. You have a choice. You can come with the team now, or you can pull weeds, and you can come with the team later. And giving them those choices, but gently giving those warnings. And as well, there's going to be times when you're going to have to give out consequences. You're going to have to say, hey, Mary, you just called so-and-so name. Do you remember the camp rule about that? Yeah, okay, well, you've got to do push-ups, and then you got to clean up the mess. You got to apologize to Susie for calling her a name. And then the last one is giving direction. And mealtime's over, and it's, okay, guys, we got 5 minutes before devotion starts. Let's see how fast we can get this table cleaned off and see if we can be the first one down the devotion spot. And just giving that direction and keeping the team moving. That's a really important role of the counselor as well. All right, next I want to talk about co-counselors. On every team, we have a counselor and a co-counselor. Generally, the co-counselor is a lot older. Often they've been a counselor as well. Sometimes they haven't. Sometimes the head counselor, this is their first time at camp, and their co-counselor, who's younger, has been a counselor for 2 summers or 3 summers or 3 weeks that summer. But the head counselor is the one that's going to take more of the lead role. And then the co-counselor is going to take a little more of the supporting role. But they both have a lot of things that they got to do together. One of the things we really want to encourage you guys to do, communicate with each other. Talk about what's going well, what isn't going well, your expectations with each other. When you're disappointed with each other, go ahead and communicate. And you're going to be modeling for the campers in doing that, proper relationships and how to relate to each other. The lead counselor guides the group, and the assistant counselor gives that support. When the lead counselor says, all right, guys, let's head out to the building, and let's get there for breakfast because breakfast is ready. And the co-counselor says, all right, guys, let's go. And he drums up the excitement. It helps the whole team move in that direction. There have been a few times when I've had some rather young co-counselors, and I really encourage them, hey, don't try to be the authoritarian here. Let your head counselor do that. You just be the excited support person. And that team did excellent. He did a really good job of doing that. And it really made it easy for the head counselor because the support counselor supported him in that. Work together as a team. You're just thinking about, hey, we're on the same team. One of you can't win without the other one if the other one's losing. And so taking the time to really work together as a team and make it a win-win for both of you. You are both responsible for the camper safety. And it doesn't matter how much older the head counselor is than if you've got a 45-year-old head counselor and you've got a 16-year-old counselor or support counselor. You both have the responsibility of having the camper safe. And so if the older counselor says, I'm going to take so-and-so down the woods, we're going to go look at trees, and you're like, well, hey, our camp rule is you can't be off alone with the counselor, with the camper. And that's your role as a co-counselor, and you need to let at that point, we need to let the counselor coach know as well. Hey, this happened. This is what I told him. He came back. He remembered the rule. But it helps us all to look out for the safety of the campers. And if you ever get to a place where you don't feel like you're heard by your co-counselor, you guys feel like you're locking horns and you're really stuck, we do have the counselor coach, and we will help you work through to win-win solutions. Next thing is chain of command. First, we have the director. He's kind of the one running the whole camp. Underneath the director is the camper counselor coach, the counselors, and then we have our campers. And so you as counselors are taking care of the needs of the campers. The counselor coach is making sure you as counselors are getting all the resources and things that you need to succeed as counselors. And of course, I'm as director overseeing the counselors or the camper counselors coach and making sure that their role's going well. So if your camper needs something, of course, they're going to come to you as a counselor. And if the counselor needs something, you're going to go talk to your counselor coach. And if the counselor coach needs something, they're going to come and talk to me or talk to the director. Each person is also accountable. So that means if you go to the counselor coach and they're not, you say, hey, I need a sleeping bag. I'm not getting you a sleeping bag. Say, hey, I really need a sleeping bag for my camper tonight. They just don't get you a sleeping bag. It is okay for you to cross over and say, hey, Ben, I've asked the counselor coach for a sleeping bag. I haven't gotten it. Also, it's okay for my campers to do that. There are times when campers feel really stuck with their counselor, and it's okay for them to go to the counselor coach and say, hey, I'm feeling my counselors aren't hearing me. Our goal is to do everything with excellence, and sometimes that doesn't happen. So we have to hold each other accountable across those lines. Counselor coach, their role is watching, listening, and looking at the big picture. What's happening here at camp? And how are the kids getting along, how the counselors getting along, and really kind of keeping everything going well, making sure everything's thriving. They equip you as counselors, so they provide pillows, devotionals, the daily schedule, kind of all those things that help you succeed as a counselor. They're also part of training before the campers arrive, kind of reviewing things and stuff like that. They're also that support backup. When you're getting tired, you say, hey, I need a break. I'm really getting stuck here. That's who you're going to want to talk to, and they'll make sure that we can find a break in the schedule for you to recharge. They're also, when your camper is no longer following your directions, that's the person you're going to go to, and they're going to take it to the next level as far as consequences and things. And they also do run the safe room. So you got a camper conflict, and you don't feel like it's pretty escalated, you can take them off the safe room. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. They also do the scheduling in the morning. At the morning meeting, there's going to be a meeting every day for you. They're going to go over the schedule, what's going to be happening, kind of make sure you're prepared for the day. And then also coaching. They're going to get together with you at some point during the day and kind of how's it going with your camper, and touch base with you, and maybe remind you of some of the tools that we teach you about how to work with your campers, and kind of help you find creative solutions for problems that are repeating. That's all I want to talk about is the safe room. The safe room is a literal place. Here at Camp David, it's off the dining hall, but at other camps, it might be in a different place. But this is a room where it's away from the other campers. So a camper gets really upset, they're crying or something like that. They don't want to go back to their wagon because they'd be either alone there, which wouldn't really be a good situation, or other campers would be there. So the safe room is a good place to go when a camper is angry or upset, and a good place to cool down. We resolve conflicts there. We'll have a pad there. We'll draw out the fear cycle and what's happening, and help the campers resolve their conflicts there. We also work through difficult feelings, either anger. Sometimes a camper will confide in an abuse situation, and often the counselor coaches will go there to talk about that as well. one of our goals in the safe room after it all is just helping the camper return to joy and get back to that place where they're enjoying camp. And also restoring the camper to their team. Sometimes we bring the whole team back there and we talk about what happened and give the camper a place ability to return to the team with dignity and feel like he's back in that relationship again. In the safe room, just for you counselors, note, sometimes the counselor coach is going to pick up, hey, I need to talk one-on-one with the camper, and then I can bring you back in and I can talk with you. So sometimes it will be one-on-one with the camper. Sometimes it will be the counselor coach and the director talking with the camper. Sometimes it'll be counselor, director, or counselor, camper coach working with the problems. So, there's any number of different ways we can work with this. We do have glass window there, so it's not like the campers are alone with somebody. All right. Last thing we'll talk about is what we call MEB. That's morale, excitement, and buy-in. Without it, you have a dragging team. Morale is when everyone feels like a valued member of the team. When they feel like their interests and their input are valued. So when that happens, a child's excited, and when their needs are being met. If a camper's got a wet sleeping bag and wet shoes, his morale is going to drop. His excitement at camp is going to drop. And but when he's got dry shoes and a nice good sleep at camp, his energy level is going to be boosted, and he's going to have a lot more fun, and it's going to be a lot more easier to enjoy camp. Excitement, that is, the team is going to be collaborating together. They're going to be excited about what they're learning and what they're doing, and they're just going to be feeling like, hey, this camp is fun. And the last one is buy-in. And buy-in is where everyone's willing to sacrifice to meet the goals of the team. So, campers are all willing to get up early and get their wagon clean so that they can win the wagon team challenge. And so they have buy-in at that point. And everyone feels excited and good about their goal, and they feel like it's worth the sacrifice. That's your what we call MEB. And here's some. If you have a high MB, if you're excited, your campers will be excited too. Where places this shows up is the Wagon Team Challenge, and if you're excited about the challenge, and the team's going to be kind of excited about the challenge as well, and about winning, memorizing verses, again, another opportunity to build MEB activities. You're playing games, and when you're cheering your campers on, that's going to build the morale and excitement. Devotions is another great place where if you have it, it goes great. If you don't, it's really dragging. Rules, actually, when you start complaining about the rules, you've just shot yourself in the foot. And now the campers are start complaining about your rules. But when you're excited about, hey, let's go do this, and you're excited about supporting the rules of camp, it really helps the campers follow your leadership as well. And then also in our worship times, when you're excited, when you're involved in worship, the kids really get involved in it as well. A team with really low MEB is going to have a lot of criticism. It's going to look at the negative. It's going to be, hey, I don't like this food or whatever. It's going to be very consequence driven, where as a counselor, hey, you didn't do that. Here's your consequence. Hey, you didn't do that. It's going to be a lot of nitpicking. It doesn't feel safe. It actually destroys trust. And then on a booming team, what we have, there's a lot of team spirit. Everyone's excited. There's team cheers, where they're excited about being on the team and being part of the team. They have team chants. There's a lot of praising each other. Good job. The high fives. Hey, I noticed when you did a great job at that. I like how just a lot of affirmation. You're looking at the positive. You're smiling at each other, and it feels safe. It builds trust. The campers are able to share their feelings and their desires and everything because there's a high amount of MEB on the team. Here's one of our videos of an awesome counselor engaging a camper in songs. And I'm going to go ahead and start it, and we'll kind of watch this video. So you see the girl center, she's just kind of standing there, and her counselor is giving her eye contact. Her counselor is doing the motions, and you can see the girl's face lighting up now. She's not sure about things. Now she's starting to move. Now her hands go up, and then bang. Camper is having a great time at camp. And this is your role as a counselor, is making camp exciting. You guys, sometimes these worship songs are like, oh, I'm not sure I want to do the hand motions and everything. But when you buy into it, when you get excited about it, your campers are going to get excited about it, and they're going to enjoy camp a lot more. All right, so this is your opportunity to practice your MVP.